abuse, that mistreatment. War can be in your own home. To name a few, it could be domestic violence, children abuse. Let me ask you, how many of you have got children? Raise your hand, please. I do as well. Yes? And let me ask again, how many of you have been children and still haven't grown up? I don't think I've ever grown up because I realized my childhood was taken away. So I made myself a promise. I would be sensible, very sensible, but I will never grow up. So going back to the kids, I too, when I was little, had dreams. My dad is a doctor. He was a doctor. And he helped so many people. He never did his job for money. He said, richness is in my heart. When I can help somebody, I'm rich. I'm going to die rich. I said, Dad, you're so amazing. I said, I want to be a doctor when I grow up as well. He said, anything is possible. Your mind is very powerful. He gave me some tools. But at the age of 18, as you witness yourself, my town was totally destroyed. We were forced to leave home because of rape and abuse from the army that was formed in former Yugoslavia. They raped and killed at will. And I ended up in the streets of Kosovo because United Nations were already there, and I thought that would be so safe. That was my dad's will. But to my surprise, as you also witnessed, I was given shelter by two very dear friends, Americans to this day, two United Nations, Peter O'Brien and Brian O'Reeves. Americans, Christians, totally different language. I, raised as Muslim, 18 years of age, still a virgin. You had to be to marry a good guy. The most painful thing was that they had me in their own apartment. They treated me with full respect. I cleaned, I cooked for them because I was so thankful to have been given this chance to have shelter. Yet, my own kind, flesh and blood religion, in any way you can imagine, takes me away. They organized to sell me to the biggest bidder as a virgin for organ harvesting at the end. These guys had the gut not only to turn the girls into prostitution, but when they were done, that wasn't good enough for them. They saw another way to make money. So what do? Organ harvesting. I am so lucky, so very lucky to even be alive, let alone to stand up here, and thank you, Rani, for giving me this opportunity to speak and inspire. Thank you. I couldn't agree with the session that we had just earlier. I couldn't agree more. And I'm going to add to that because when I was held for 6 months in a very small little room, and literally it was 2 steps, as tall as I am, I could just feel the wall at the top. No daylight. Let me just take my shoes off because I didn't have shoes. I had a blanket, I had a blanket. That's all I had. And the clothes that I was taken with, that I was wearing. In this small little room, I could feel the concrete. So cold. I could hear them outside laughing and screaming after they beaten me up, burned my leg. They branded me. They broke my jaw. I lost teeth, I broke my nose. I have 2 slip discs. as a result of this monstrous abuse. But going back to the session that we just had, you know, I didn't have the skill that this beautiful lady possessed today, and she gave it to us as a gift. I only channeled my instinct. I was quiet. I didn't have anybody else to talk to. I was talking to myself. Little did I know that my own self was more powerful listening to than actually if I had the whole army there. I kept my mind strong because I realized I wasn't dying, it wasn't my time. So I decided to speak to myself, to sing to myself, to think about all the good people in the world, like Mother Teresa, the great job she has done. Nelson Mandela, he was imprisoned unfairly for so long, and he made it through. So I thought to myself, look, maybe it's not forever, you know, you're going to just have to try for the love of your parents. My parents were my mission. I'm the only child. And now I understand as a parent why I did what I did. I wanted to make my parents proud and see that I survived. I beat all the odds. And that little thing, that little mindset that I had with me saved my life, because I never ever stopped looking for escape, to stay sane, and eventually make a difference. I didn't realize this is how it's going to end up for me. In fact, this may be just the beginning, but so eventually, when I made it to the UK as a political refugee, I never ever spoke besides the governments that needed to know why I was there as an illegal immigrant, and my doctors and my therapist that I needed great help psychologically. I was a disturbed soul. And years went by, I became such a successful personal trainer, nutritionist, helping many, just like my dad said, you will find a way. And this is in London, and it just, something wasn't adding up. I said, it must be something that I'm missing. And I didn't realize, but I do now, my mission wasn't complete because I was meant to speak out. If everybody could think to speak out, can you imagine the power that we will radiate in the world, and the course of this whole monstrous act that's still going on in the world? We can at least try and stop it, if nothing else. Women often feel like they should stay quiet because they are ashamed, like I felt. I was ashamed, I blamed myself for what had happened. Why? I even said to my mom and dad as I was leaving when they risked their life to escape from this hole, I said, Mom and Dad, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I caused this. And every person that's been through something similar says the same. I witnessed India's daughter movie, I was on the panel. Before she died in Singapore, she also said to her mom, I'm so sorry, Mom. We mustn't be sorry, we must speak up. We must stand strong. And we must stand strong for men as well. Men are at risk as well. We are good heart to try and make a difference. Now my focus is to inspire, speak, but I work very closely on making people better speaker on stage. I've qualified myself as a public speaking coach and presentation skills. I work very closely with different kind of people to get their business successful, to be good to speak on stage so they can connect, so they're okay to reveal their feelings. Storytell, it's fine. We are human. I love nothing more than working with you guys. I love working with people. And we are amazing. And these monstrous people that doesn't define human race. Because when I was little, I thought monsters was real. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so scared to sleep in my dark little room. And I even was scared in that little room when I was being held. And I was right, they are actually real. The difference is that they walk amongst us and they live in us. Now, what is it that's holding you back? Have you ever heard the thought, oh, this is not possible, and you walked away from an opportunity? I did. But every time I went back to what I went through, and said, if I could escape that and be normal still, and manage to have children, after all the rape and the abuse that they gave me, I managed to create life, to love a man again, to work. There is nothing you can't do. She was right. The meditation teacher, right? She was so right. If you think so hard about something that you so want, you will become. You will become. If you now think you are depressed and you focus on really so depressed you are, believe me, by the time you walk out of this room, you're going to be so depressed. Mind is very powerful. It's like a muscle. We train it. Whatever we feed it, it becomes. You give protein, it becomes bigger. You starve it, it becomes weak. Feed it with good information. You are so worth it, and you have no idea how many gifts you have within inside of you through your life that you've learned through perhaps what you consider to be a failure or pain. I'm afraid to break the news, that's your game. So use it, share it, inspire it, can start in small groups. Person next to you, your mom, be honest with yourself. I want to be the difference that I see in the world. Who do you want to be? Thank you guys. And with this, I love you all very